Alright guys, welcome back to our playthrough of Tomb Raider 1. This is level 12, the Sanctuary of the Scion. I am playing in the Croft engine by Storendorf with HD textures by Matthew Hill. So, after overcoming the trials of the Obelisk of Khamoon shortly after arriving at the city of Khamoon, we now venture forth into what is the shrine of the final piece of the Scion that once belonged to the heretic ruler, the third ruler of Atlantis. This is another super iconic level that I think you're gonna love. Let's get started looking for our prize. Okay, through this gate we can see a very similar object to the Scarab that we picked up in the last level. And this is where we'll be placing it. Can't do anything about it right now. Let's go up the stairs that beckon us forth. Quite the warm welcome straight off the bat. We've emerged from a giant structure, which you'll get a better look at when we turn around. If you notice that there is a door up there on the right, it isn't open yet, so we'll have to find a way to open it. I'm just going to grab this before we go. Now check out how iconic and stupendous this sense of scale is. Alright, so there's a couple of locked doors around the level. So I think we should just take a moment to take in here this view and appreciate how in 1996, when 3D games were pretty much in their infancy, that they crafted such a massive level using so many polygons. So where do we begin in this enormous level? Well, there is a switch just up there, and that's where we're going to head to first. This level for me was always steeped in a kind of eerie mystery. The Sphinx is in seemingly a cavernous zone, sort of hidden from sight, only accessed by those who could actually overcome the trials of the Obelisk. Alright, so it's opened the door to the Sphinx's right side. And were it only the eerie mystery of the Sphinx that draws us forth, the Atlantean horror creations that we've seen born from the power of the Scion plague us almost everywhere we go in this level. Okay, you might have noticed this strange texture here. It's actually not a glitch, it's part of the one and only secret in this level. We can't get it from here though, so just ignore it for the time being. Alright, so let's hop back down and get to the door that we just opened. It's a bit high. All right. Okay, and you've probably noticed that there is another switch up there, which is to open the second door. I'm just going to do one at a time for now. Okay, another flooded room, like many we've seen in Egypt. Let's have a little swim about. Alright, nothing for us to find. Alright, so I think I missed a little hole in the wall, quite literally. Just over here. Let's hop up. Okay, it's a confusingly similar room on this left-hand side here. Okay, so another of the Egyptian sapphire keys down here on this waterbed. If we look back up, we can see that there's actually a keyhole up there, and that's where we need to place it. But there is a bridge that we're going to try and reach. Excellent. Another of the terrifying centaur monsters created by the Scion. Very much the same one we saw guarding the tomb of Taihoken back in Greece. And this is the trinket that it was guarding. Looks like another Ankh, similar to the last level. Judging by just how many Atlantean horrors there are in this level, it's clear that the Scion cannot be far. Alright, I'm gonna make my way out of this area and head for the next lever. The lever is up there, so it looks like we're in for another familiar jumping puzzle. And even as I climb up here, I still, to this day, remark at the scope of this level. You know, not having many 3D games back in 1996, this was just such a mind-blowing experience. Excellent. Given that one flying creature was released when we pulled the other lever, it might be safe to assume there could be another. Although we look pretty clear for the moment. Ah, just as I put him away. Alright, so there's a medipack there. Alright. So now to reach the door that we just opened. I forgot the way back up. Little hole in the shoulder here. Maybe a little Achilles shoulder. Even I wasn't sure we would make that one. Alright, what trial will we find in here? Movable block we can see. Aha, another Ankh. Might be a good time to use a motorbike. These centaurs were obviously created to protect these Ankhs. Okay, now where to place these Ankhs? If we look closely, above the Sphinx's head is a little pedestal on which we can place them. So it looks like we're heading up. So how do we get above? Well, first we're going to rid ourselves of this nuisance. And we can actually use this slightly sloped block. Alright, here we are at the highest point in the level. Right on its head. Best be careful around these parts, we're terribly high. Look at that beautiful view. Just wonderful. Okay, we now have a door into the heart of the Sphinx. Before we go, I'm sure you're curious about that secret. The little issue of the floating guns. Okay. So, I'm going to give it a running jump from up here. Because these look like automatic weapons, and no one wants to miss out on those. Perfect. Alright. Let's get back onto solid ground, shall we? And it sounds like we can take these new babies for a spin. This is quite a precarious ledge. They are quite strong, as you can see. Alright, with the 2 trials to gain access to the heart of the Sphinx behind us, let's venture forth inside and see what awaits us. Another inner chamber of supreme scale. This used to actually scare me as a kid. I'm not sure why. I think it was like the giant statues underwater. I'd gush over it some more, but we really need to find a place to go. So we can see here, there's a door. I just think it was such a lovely, creative idea to pitch a level within the body of a Sphinx. We better heal up before we drop down here. Okay, so the lever we pulled, as you can see, drained some of the water out of the room. We're actually on the heads of the 2 statues we saw earlier. Little miscreant has flown away. Seems that we have no choice but to head further down. Not the most graceful way to hop down there. Alright. Okay. Little dead end there. Let's hop on over to the second statue and see what's above. A switch. Alright. Open the door at the foot of the other statue. These statues kind of remind me of Horus and Anubis. Horus being the Egyptian god of kingship, healing, protection, the sun in the sky, often depicted with a falcon's head, and Anubis, his full or half brother, god of the dead, funerary rites, and guider of souls through the underworld, often depicted with a canine's head. Without too much of a spoiler, Lara might be dealing with one of them a little bit later on in her career. For now, let's head on with the rest of the level. There's a lovely symmetry to this level, down from the way that the trials are separated to the left and right of the Sphinx, and the two statues you just saw then. That kind of theme that we've experienced in Egypt of like an encircling and twining level continues so beautifully here. As you can see, this is a gargantuan climb up inside the statue of Horus. Aha. Scarab is ours again. And the whole horde of Atlantis' horrors have been released. And as you can see, they are going for blood. Phew. Here we are back at the start of the level. Except this time with a Scarab handy. Alright. Inside we can see a sarcophagus. This could be the room that we've been waiting for.
I still got a pain in my brain from you. And it's telling me funny ideas now, like to shoot you to hell.
Lawson. Looks like he's here to finish the job. But this time, Lara didn't hold back. She had no choice. It was her or him. And the Scion. Speaking of which, let's take a look around. What I always loved about this room was it's so wonderfully calm and serene compared to the monstrosities around it. And here, sleeping in peaceful silence, is the final piece of the Scion. Could this be the end of Lara's adventure? Let's find out in the next level.